All right, so with that, let me spend the rest of the time, about 20 minutes, just continuing to alpha test our class GPT that's available at the short link, CoA phys.xyz/GPT. I updated this, I think 2 weeks ago, but I didn't get to alpha test this last week, so hopefully, it was working reasonably fine. Nothing in it was seriously broken. One of the things that I changed so that I think it's a little bit better is I set a default model for the custom GPT. So when you open it, will start with the GPT-5. I think if it's available, you still have you can still change it or so this is what the creator recommended. At least because that's what I tested with before I published what I tested in preview with. And I also added some additional information, I think, through the end of rigid body motion. And the main update I made is I tried to make it more interactive so that it doesn't give you the full solution right away. It doesn't do that. So we'll see. The intent is not to make it less helpful to you. Intent is so that if someone's not being extra careful about how to use this tutor in a way, it acts as a good tutor. If someone's not careful with that, it still has guardrails. Like it doesn't do things that won't help you with your learning. So that's the intent. Let's see how well it works. I didn't have as much time to test it as I wish I had. So this is 20 minutes of additional testing time that I'm using in a multi-purpose ways. I'm just gonna unlock through here to get to the problem set. Let's hope I can open it now. Good. So I could use LayPass. Test student being the horrible student he is. He hasn't used the menu of the LayPasses yet. I also don't have to. I can just open it in practice mode. And for those of you preparing for the required one-on-one meeting, at this point in the semester, practice mode versus actual attempt doesn't really make that big of a difference. So do whatever you feel like. I can access your practice mode during the meeting just as well as I can access your regular attempt. So, let me start off with this question. This is a classic question. So as a way of testing, I'm just gonna not give any intro. I'm just gonna paste in the question. And if a CoA physics GPT is doing what it's supposed to be doing, then it should ask me, what have I tried? It might give a quick background for the question, but kind of outline some of the strategies that you might use. But after outlining, it should shut up. It shouldn't. It shouldn't move on to apply that strategy until I have had some chance to try myself. So let me paste it in, and let's hope it does what it is supposed to. And one thing I really try to fix in the system instructions is it should not be answering parts B and C until we are done with the part A. So, okay. Well, that's annoying. It's I don't know. I don't like generative AIs being explicit like this. Like they're like making asking it to do it. That is in the system instructions, but keep it under wraps. Just do that without telling me that you are doing that. You can ask about. Okay. Let me see. I just pasted in the question. Can you see it? It's lying. So. Oh wait, maybe. Yes. Please read the question directly from the images. Oops, typo. It'll get it. No, I don't know what this. You might have misunderstood red as being a verb, maybe. Like mark it in red. I don't know. I don't know what it's doing. I might have broken something when I changed the system instructions. We'll see. Um, that definitely looks annoying. Or it looks like it's doing something that's not actually helpful. Why is it creating? I mean, so I think I misunderstood. So yes, please read the question. So I think the typo might have just it's still doing it. Never mind. So I'll do it this way. Um, uh, okay. Let's see. Can I? I don't think I can. Let me do it here. Let me paste in the question images again. I really stuck on this question. Can you tell me where to start? So image and when you ask it directly for help, it should it shouldn't it shouldn't evade the question. It should directly answer it. Can you okay, it might do that. Appearance, yeah. Yes, it's yes, I'm in physics 4A. Diagram, connect messages and for. You do need a standard strategy, but this is the setup. Maybe I did break something. What the problem is? Yeah, now it gets it to work and energy. Yeah. If the prompt. Yeah. Okay. Energy conservation to find the speed at the top. That's okay. At the top starts from rest, 0 kinetic energy at angle theta. It has lost characteristics of potential energy gain, kinetic energy. Yeah, this much is it's still doing the thing that I don't want it to do. It's I don't know. I mean, so this is the looks like a correct answer, and it probably is, but like it should have either stopped to here, like here, or it should have stopped to here. Now you as the user can always make sure you understand what's going on. So you might ask, like let's say you can do the algebra from here to get here, but you are not sure. Can you explain why h lost is equal to r1 minus cosine theta? So it's the custom GPT is still having trouble knowing where to stop the explanation and kind of make sure you're working through. But as long as it's giving you physics content that's not wrong, like you can do this. You can ask it additional questions to make sure you are understanding the steps. Top of the picture sliding down to theta, new vertical height. So let me ask this. I'm having trouble understanding this. Can you draw it for me? And with the ChatGPT 5, some of the drawings it draws are now correct. So it's possible that it can correctly draw and label this. There were some free body diagrams we've done before where it actually did it correctly. So we'll see. Image generation takes a long time. Oh, but I guess I asked for it. Can you draw for me? So last time I updated the ChatGPT, I didn't get to work on this portion of the update. So I think this is going through image generation. It usually creates wrong diagram. The only correct diagrams I've seen from ChatGPT were done through some sort of a plot generation algorithm. So here, yeah, this is, it's nonsense. Like the dotted lines are in the wrong place. It's yeah. So this is something I actually do need to fix. So I guess I do need to update ChatGPT or CoA Physics GPT this weekend for Physics Force material. Let me actually work on this specifically, making sure whenever it's generating image, it goes through plot generation rather than image generation. So yeah, so I'll just lie and say I got it. Okay, I think I got a. Can you tell me where to start with a B? So this should be force analysis now. Standard strategy. Energy to forces. Yeah. Second line, the radial direction. To forces. So I think if I ask it to draw free body diagram, I think it's gonna be, and it's still giving me a lot. It is answering the question for me. Because it gave me an answer I could just plug directly in. Yeah. Again, I think so. I think before I was doing the update, I knew it would be relatively easy to make sure that it answers one part at a time. But how it approaches each part, that is a lot harder thing to prompt. Where, yeah, check your understanding, just sliding. N equals mg when theta equals 0, right? Yeah, as long as your v is 0 at the top. If it's not, then then I guess it. Let me move on. I want to do another question after this one. So we now put A and B together. So this is the part where I guess I can make some there's this. So I think with that I have enough to kind of start writing, and let me make a mistake somewhere to have a plausible question for CoA Physics GPT. So I say the net force mg cosine theta minus, and I have that. So let me or let me say that's my mistake. I didn't read this part. I didn't know that I could have set n equals 0. So I say that is equal to mv squared over r. I plug in v from above. Squaring it gets rid of the square root. So I get mg cosine theta minus n with the v plugged in. It's 2gr 1 minus, running out of space. One minus cosine theta divided by times m divided by r. R's cancel, good. And let's say you are trying to solve for cosine theta, which I guess you can. But let me actually stop here and say I need help with algebra. I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm trying to finish up part C, and I'm not sure where to go from here. I wrote out what we have so far, canceled out R, but what's the next step in solving for cost data? And you know, I think I've said this many times. This is what I think is really the capability of generative AI that you can't get from other sources. Because if you all you wanted was the answer, I've worked this out. You have homework help videos. Like you don't need to ask ChatGPT for answers. What it can do that other resources, you know, won't ever be able to, the way generative AI can, is it can actually give you immediate feedback on your work. Now, if you are at my office hour or something, then you know, I can give you immediate feedback as long as I'm around. But I'm not around 24/7 the way ChatGPT is. So really close, hard part set up correctly. Yeah. So it notes that the part that I missed. So that, yeah, and I guess that, but so here it doesn't. It's not quite recognizing the steps that I've done. That's annoying because it's just basically giving me the what would have been an answer key. So I'll say, yeah, it's still doing that. Sorry, you lost to me at n equals 0. Why is that? Ended up. I mean, it did explain, or maybe it didn't. And you know, you can ask it for additional explanations. Normal force does the contact force. Yeah, losing contact means, you know, no normal force. Yeah, so it's still doing too much. But I think fixing that is gonna be basically the hardest thing. I'll try something at some point. Probably not this weekend because I think there are more things I need to try. But I think I want to work on fixing this part next. Whenever someone asks for a diagram, it should go through a path that actually generates correct diagram. Because right now it's going through a pathway that doesn't do that correctly. All right, let me just find a question dealing with the momentum and ask it that. Let's see. Let me. ChatGPT already taught me about relative velocity formula. We have my lectures on that. So let me find an inelastic collision question so that it doesn't tell me the stuff that I already know. Maybe this. Can I do this? Embedded. I don't know. That's a little too long. Actually, let me do this question. Because here's a so when you look at homework help video, you will see that I have made an initial assumption that turned out to be wrong, and also this is what I can imagine. You know, someone working through this. You are using your textbook. You can make this mistake. Because your textbook gives you two versions of the rocket equation. There's oops, not this chapter. There's the first rocket equation that they give you, and it's possible that you stop here and then use that to find an answer. And when you use that to find an answer, I'm just gonna guess. I think it's gonna be something like 1500. So let me do this as a kind of a question to CoA Physics GPT. So I'm on the next question. I found a formula from the textbook. I think it's called rocket equation, and worked in the screenshot and worked through the algebra to get an answer, but the system says my answer is wrong. Not a question, but it'll usually infer a question from that declarative statement. So, it might. So I'm giving it two different things to correct. It might correct. Oh, that's just a round number. The correct answer using that equation should be a little bit closer. Is that the name of the person? I don't know. It thinks I'm using the right formula, so that is wrong. I can't scroll. I think I might not be able to scroll until until it's done. Generating maybe. Yeah. Check the setup carefully. That's what I supposedly went through, and let's say it gives me that answer, but I tried that, and it so it's still doing the thing that I don't want it to do, but for now I'll ignore it. It's basically giving me the whole answer, and I've already tried with the prompts to get it not to do that, but it's not working. I'll try something else later. Okay, I tried that. It still says it's wrong. It should recognize that it's not the right equation. I need to use the version from further down in the textbook. The one that talks about rocket propulsion in a gravitational field. That's really why they gave you the amount of time, so that you can work that out that way. So there's this formula that you are supposed to be using. Now, in my homework helper video, I figured all this out without appealing to the rocket equation. So, needs a small but crucial tweak. Let's see. Problem gives a type vertically from us. Yeah, good. So yeah, this would be the correct equation, and you can actually do this question without the rocket equation. You can just do it using conservation of momentum, and you just include the correction from the external force of gravity. You can do it that way. The numbers end up being pretty close. Yeah. Still doing the thing that I don't want you to do, but this is the kind of defect that someone who's carefully using ChatGPT as a tutor, you can compensate, as in, when it gives you the final answer, don't be satisfied with that. Ask it additional questions. Try to make sure you understand the process it's given you. And I think ultimately the best way you can ensure that you understood all this is step away for a bit. Come back next day just to go to this question, and without going back to ChatGPT, see if you can do this whole thing on your own without referring to previous chat logs and any notes, possibly the textbook. If you are, remembering that you have to go to this correct equation in the textbook, that's fine. But basically, you ought to be able to do these questions referring to nothing but textbook. If you can do that, then great. I think you're in the right place. If you can't, then again, I'm trying to put in the right system instructions for CoA Physics GPT so that it'll help you do that. But it's work in progress. It's not doing that right yet. So yeah, and next time I think I'm gonna start the session not with the image, but kind of with some intro thing. I think it works better that way, maybe. It might be a thing to fix on the system prompts.